Welcome guys to the Meet Damien live stream. In today's video, we're going to be talking about altcoins, why I feel there's no altcoin season, what I think the reason might be. Then we'll take a look at some of your altcoin requests. I see a few of them have come in already. And we'll also take a look at other things as well, if you guys want to take a look at stocks or commodities or anything else out there. But today's stream is going to be focused on altcoins, and we're going to talk about the 10-year treasury, okay? The interest rates, okay? The interest rates, I believe, is causing altcoin season not to happen for us, okay? And I just want to show you the chart, give you a little bit of history, and then we'll move on to looking at your altcoin requests here. But right now, I'm looking at the 10-year treasury right now. This 10-year treasury yield showing interest rates at 3.97%. That's for the for this week here in October. But looking back at the U.S. Treasuries here, over the past year, we've been as high as like 4.5%, 4.5% here. 5% back in October of 2023. Okay, we've seen very high interest rates. Okay, now you could say that we had an altcoin season, in like January, February, or March of 2024, and interest rates were still high. And you could say that we also had kind of like an altcoin season last year in November of 2024 and December of 2024, and interest rates were still high. But none of our altcoins actually made new all-time highs, except for a select few of them, such as like Solana, such as like XRP. Okay, but for the most part, a lot of these other altcoins, they weren't able to get back to their previous cycle highs or their all-time highs from last year, from last cycle. And I believe it has a lot to do with the interest rates. Okay, the good bit of news that I have for you guys is that they are planning on lowering interest rates. That's the trend, is interest rates are going down. But I just want to show you guys here the history of, like, in the last cycle of 2020 and 2021, we saw interest rates as low as like less than 1%. Right here in August of 2020, we have like the 10-year yield at like 0.55%, 0.55%. And then going into like April 2021, we saw interest rates as high as like 1.75%. Okay, and then like November 2021, when Bitcoin was peaking out and making new all-time highs of like $69,000, we saw interest rates as high as 1.69%, which is clearly less than what we see here at 3.97%. Okay. And then even back in like the 2017 cycle, right? You guys, I'm looking at the weekly chart here, but the 2017 cycle, we saw interest rates in like January of 2017, right? As low as, 2.38%. And going into like, I think December 2017, when Bitcoin topped out at like $19,000, and people were like, oh, it's going to go to $20,000 and $30,000. We only saw interest rates as high as like 2.49%. So like right now, interest rates are still high, and I think it's strangling and stopping the altcoin season from actually happening, because a lot of debt has been taken out over the years, and people's credit cards are maxed out, and a lot of people are worried about paying bills and putting food on their table versus buying an altcoin or a meme coin. Okay. I don't know. You guys tell me otherwise if your friends and family are struggling out there or not struggling. But if they're not struggling, why are they not buying their altcoins, right? Why are they not buying meme coins to try to make, those sick gains that we're trying to get here in crypto? I believe it has a lot to do with the interest rates. So when they start lowering interest rates, that's going to help a lot of people out, especially people that own houses, can refinance their mortgages, free up some money so they can then go out and buy altcoins. Okay, and it will also help people with their credit cards. The credit card bills are stuffing them right now, suffocating them, and if they can get a little bit ahead on their bills, maybe they can actually go ahead and buy some altcoins here. But I just want to show you guys the 10-year treasury and what I think is causing the altcoins to suffer and not really get the bids that they're looking for. I do see that we have some requests here. Let's see. We have DZ is asking about SQD. And then he wants to take a look at Avantis. And then I see Shareem in the chat, and Chris Klein, and Ava Medina. I see a lot of guys here. Thank you guys for coming on to the live stream. Jake. And I believe I saw Floki Angels, and who else? Laureen. Of course, Laureen and John 316. Good to see you guys come into the chat here. Also on my TikTok, guys, I got a phone here. This is my phone for my TikTok, guys. We have Landa is in the chat here asking a question. Do you think we will go into a bear market? A bear market for crypto could happen if Bitcoin loses the 200-day moving average, in my opinion here. Let's just take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Going into the daily time frame here. And Bitcoin is playing with fire right now as far as I'm concerned, because if we lose this 200-day moving average, this red line here, sitting at 108,151, then yeah, I would say that's the beginning of the bear market, or the end of this bull run, if you want to call it that. Okay. I am very concerned about Bitcoin losing $108,000 here. We lost it temporarily back here on Friday, October 17th here, last Friday. And then we were able to get a nice V-shaped recovery that I like to see, but then we kind of got rejected off of the moving averages above us. We came past the 100-day moving average, which was good to see, and then we almost made an attempt to get to the 50-day moving average, that green line. Didn't quite get there. We would have had to get to like 115K, and we only made it as high as 114K. And I think that was the rejection that we got, but it's not game over yet for Bitcoin, in my opinion, unless you lose the daily, the 200-day moving average, this red line here, and actually get some candle closes below it. So if we start seeing Bitcoin at $107,000, $106,000, and it ends the day at $107,000, $106,000, that's when the alarm bells start ringing for me that we're about to enter a bear market and have the end of the bull run here for crypto and Bitcoin. And I know you guys are probably feeling that with your altcoins here. The altcoins have had the devastation of losing higher percentage than whatever Bitcoin goes down. If Bitcoin goes down 10%, you know, the altcoins seem to go down like 20 or 30%. So I think you guys have all seen that already with your altcoins here. I do want to go into Bitcoin dominance real quick before I start getting to the requests. Because I want to show you what is also concerning me here with Bitcoin, okay? And that's the dominance is actually increasing here on Bitcoin dominance, right? We see Bitcoin dominance is currently at 59.86%. This means that out of all the money in cryptocurrency world, Bitcoin actually owns about 59% of that money is in Bitcoin right now. And this thing is currently climbing up. I felt better earlier in July and August when, you know, Bitcoin dominance, you know, we saw Bitcoin dominance as high as like 65% in June, okay? But then we started dropping here when the Stablecoin Act got passed in Congress, when Congress was actually doing their freaking job, okay? And here in the United States, then we actually saw Bitcoin dominance drop below this 200-day moving average, back test it once, came down, back tested twice. This was your confirmation here in August that altcoin season was in full gear. At least for this year, we had an altcoin season, and it dropped, and then we kind of created like what we thought was going to be another bear flag here. However, we're still increasing, and then here on Friday, October 10th, when Donald Trump said 100% tariffs on China, that did a number on cryptocurrency, and it also shot up the Bitcoin dominance here to back as high as 63% and got us above that 200-day moving average. If you get above the 200-day moving average, that is the end of altcoin season. So I think we're still in an altcoin season. I'm not totally bearish yet, okay? But I don't like this trend that we're doing where, yeah, we threatened to go back up to the 200-day moving average. We actually got above the 200-day moving average. Came back down real quick, thank God. However, the trend is still going up and to the right here. And I was hoping over the last couple of days here that we were going to get rejected off this 50-day moving average on the Bitcoin dominance. Because when Bitcoin dominance goes down, that means more money is going into altcoins, right? But if Bitcoin dominance keeps increasing and we go up to like the 100-day, that blue line right there, and then the 200-day, that red line right there, guess what? That means Bitcoin is getting more of the money that's in cryptocurrency world. And it's probably the way things are going is it seems like money is leaving altcoins to go into Bitcoin. Okay, so you do not want to see Bitcoin dominance going up because that means money is not going into your altcoins. Okay. And then the other thing here with USDT dominance, right? I don't like this either. Okay, USDT dominance is the tether that is out there, which is supposed to track, you know, a dollar for dollar. Every tether out there is supposed to be digital dollars out there. This is also increasing as well and creating a bear flag. I'm not sorry, a bull flag. And if this continues increasing, this means that people are selling their Bitcoin and their altcoins and going into Tether because they're scared or because they think the top is in on crypto here. So this is not good to see either. I have noted that we have an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is not great to see on USDT dominance because that means that Tether dominance was going to increase, and sure enough, it did. After we got this inverse head and shoulder pattern on Tether, then I saw this potential ascending triangle here, which I kind of hope would get rejected, but we end up breaking out to the upside here. So here we have Tether dominance at 5% and steadily increasing. I'm on the fence here about whether I should be bullish or bearish on Bitcoin. We're really playing with fire right now. And with Tether dominance increasing, that's another reason why you're not going to get your altcoin season here. Okay. We have seen Tether dominance as high back here in April of 2025 at like 5.5%, and then even get it as high as like 6%. So do you guys remember how bad altcoins and crypto was doing when Bitcoin was at $74,000 back in April of 2025? I mean, if Tether dominance increases to 6%, you're probably going to see Bitcoin dropping, obviously, and then your altcoins going down and getting like a death sentence. You know, going into the bear market here. All right, let's see. Let's get into the altcoin requests here. Let me see. I got Christopher Inns on TikTok saying to get altcoin season, we need Bitcoin to go to all-time highs. So we need to get above 60% for Bit at least. I mean, that is the only thing that could be our saving grace, is that maybe money is going into Bitcoin. And if money goes into Bitcoin, it then trickles down into altcoins. Okay, but the problem with that theory, Christopher, is that Tether dominance is increasing. So Bitcoin dominance is going down because money is leaving, you know, altcoins and going into Bitcoin. But it also seems that as though money is leaving altcoins and going into Tether because Tether dominance is increasing. So yeah, you know, what would help is Bitcoin going up to higher prices. That for damn sure would definitely help altcoins right now. It's as simple as that. But Bitcoin's not even doing that at this moment right now. Let's see. Let's just take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Last time I saw it was at 108,000. Right now Bitcoin's at 108,500, 600. So maybe Bitcoin's gonna actually do the thing and actually go to higher prices here. But you need Bitcoin to go to higher prices, or else, you know, money is gonna go into Tether. It's gonna leave the altcoins, and it's probably gonna go right back in the US dollars, and people are gonna just cash out and go right, put the money back in the bank again. Get off the exchanges and put it back in the bank. So that's something that we gotta worry about here. Alright. I hate to be so bearish, but I gotta present the case in case things do get worse from where they are right now. All right, let's look at some of these altcoins. So we gotta look at SQD for DZ and then Avantis. Let's take a look at those first. Subsquid, right? Yeah, Subsquid. Let me just double check here my volume. Okay, good. All right, so we're looking at Subsquid right now. SQD currently trading at just under 15 pennies. Why does the price look frozen here? Is Trading View? Yeah, the prices are moving, but SQD doesn't look like it's moving. That's interesting. All right, whatever. SQD looks like it's frozen here, just under 15 pennies, up 1% today. SQD, what can you do for us here? Well, I think we already talked about SQD earlier in some of the previous live streams here. But if SQD was to maintain this downtrend, it looks like you won't get support until you get down to this 50-day moving average, sitting at 13 pennies, roughly. You also get the 0.236 level, roughly at 13 pennies, just under 13 pennies. It's actually at 0.128 pennies. I would expect a reaction in this area. Maybe you get a bounce off of 13 pennies if the downtrend continues pushing you down to 13 pennies here on Subsquid. But if Subsquid can catch some bids here, then I would expect it to at least try to get to this 0.382 level at 16 cents. That could be your short-term resistance, your first take profit target. And then going forward, I want to see if we can get up to the 0.5 retracement at roughly 19 cents here. Okay. But let's see what Subsquid is doing on the oscillators here real quick. Here's something a little bit promising action here on the daily time frame. Yeah, Subsquid. Oh, see, it just disappeared on me. But we have selling pressure here on the MACD, and for a quick second there, we actually had a pink candle rather than a red candle, which was indicating that selling pressure is dying down. But it just went back to red again. So that that just canceled itself out because the price just dropped a little bit here while we were looking at it. But you want to see the MACD start to round out and start curving back up again. Let's look at money flow. Is money flow curving up? Money flow was in the green back in like the beginning of October here. Looks like we got the money flow flip to the red here on Saturday, October 18th. And we got money flow coming out of Subsquid right now, which is probably why the prices are going down. I want to see money flow stop going down. I want to see it start curving back up again, showing that money is going back into Subsquid, and also see the momentum wave start curving up as well to the upside. But yeah, right now Subsquid, you had a sell red dot here on October 11th. You're just waiting for a green buy dot to come in on Market Cypher B, saying that, you know, now's a good time to buy Subsquid. You don't have that green buy dot yet. You could come down a little bit further in price before you get that green buy dot when buyers start to show up again. So that's what I see for Subsquid. Doesn't look as promising to me. You might have to go down a little bit lower before the buyers start to show up. All right, moving on from Subsquid, we'll take a look at Avantis, AVNT. I think I have Avantis in my watch list here. Yeah, I do. Okay. So Avantis is actually looking a little bit better today than Subsquid. It's up 8.7% today, currently trading at 65 pennies. And Avantis has been in a downtrend. It's seen some of its best days here on September 22nd, and it's been in a downtrend ever since then. Looks like you're kind of breaking out of the downtrend by just going sideways. So that's one way to do it, to get out of that downtrend. Good to see. Looks like Avantis actually came up to the 0.336 level at 78 pennies here. Got rejected yesterday when it got up to like 79 pennies here. Okay, so this level, this 0.236 level, is a level to be looking forward to see if Avantis can actually push past that 79-cent level and move on to higher prices. You also got the 21 EMA. This white line could also act as resistance, and it did yesterday. Like, it's like the 21 EMA and the 0.236 level were confluent with each other, and that's where you got your rejection on Avantis. X marks the spot right there. I think if you come back up again, you got to contend against that 21 EMA at 76 pennies right now. And then, of course, you know, 78 pennies is where that 0.236 level is. And then once you get past that level right there, then it could be, you know, blue sky breakout, kind of, sort of, until you get to the next level. The next level we gotta look for is $1.15 here on Avantis, and that's your 0.382 Fibonacci retracement. Okay, this was a level that was acting as support back in early October. Looks like now that we're trying to climb back up to it, it could act as resistance. So $1.15 for Avantis, which is still almost like a double from where you are right now. There could be some money to be made on Avantis, but I would expect $1.15 to be a resistance level before you could even talk about the higher levels here, like this 618 level here, at $1.73 and $1.81. That would be the next target after, I would say, $1.15. But those are your upside targets. You just got some levels to get through here on Avantis. To the downside, well, you don't want to go down further than what you've done in recent days here. I'll probably put the stop loss below 47 pennies, because if you lose that, I mean, what is there to support you now? There's nothing here on Avantis. Besides, you know, where Avantis was trading at back here in early September, when we were at like 20 cents. So, probably put the stop loss at 47 cents so you don't risk too much. Not financial advice. Do whatever you need to do. But I would probably get out of Avantis at 47 pennies if it's not able to cash the bids here. Alright, let's see. I want to see if there's any other requests here. Ava Medina is asking about Marathon and CleanSpark, UXPI. Those are some cryptocurrency stocks there. And then Lorene, what is Lorene saying? It will rocket after going down. I asked about CoAI when you started a while ago, but I don't see the comment. I'll stay as long as can. Could chat later. All right, so let me I'll look at CoAI for Lorraine. Hopefully you're still in the chat, Lorraine. And then we'll look at those other cryptos for Ava Medina here. All right, just catching up on the chat here. Let's see what my TikTok guys are saying too. Let's see. Idreas wants to look at World Liberty Finance. Let me write that down. So what I'll do is I'll look at CleanSpark, and then I'll look at World Liberty Finance. But we gotta take a look at CoAI for Lorene. And then we'll just go back and forth here. I see MMA Esquires in the TikTok stream. Hello, MMA Esquire. Don't forget to hit that like button. Double tap the screen to show the likes. Appreciate you guys hitting that like button there. Same thing for my YouTube guys. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. And thank you to Chris for sharing on X. That's cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's take a look at CoAI. Oh man, so I've been actually pretty good with CoAI, or CoAI has been good to me. I've been making some money on CoAI. I think we talked about this in the Discord about CoAI. If it could get past 11.25 today, then it's probably going to be on its way to $12 or $13 here. And that's the 618 is at $12.43, and the 65 is at $13. Those are your next upside targets. The reason why I said 11.25, we need to get above that, is because that was the 200-day moving average. This red line here was sitting at about 11.25 about an hour ago, 2 hours ago. And you can see that it initially acted as resistance here on the 1 hour time frame at around 10 a.m. Eastern time here. Came down, got support off of the 100-day moving average, and then we bounced off. Either retested this 200-day moving average, actually got above it, but then got rejected, and now we're getting a nice green candle here on CoAI, and I think CoAI is ready to go to higher prices, believe it or not. The next higher price level, like I said, is going to be this 618 at $12.43, and then $13 is a level to be looking out for. Then once past that, we're going to see if CoAI is going to try to make its way up to The 786 retracement at 1578. This is a level that was acting as support quite a few times here in the 1 hour chart. So this support zone is now going to be resistance that we have to push past if CoAI is going to actually make it past $15 and on its way back to the all-time high of like $20 here. Okay, take it one level at a time. I think CoAI could be a trade that you could get into and push it up to 20 bucks again if you're able to, or somewhere near 13, 15 bucks. We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, there's not much resistance on the moving average. You know, using the moving average, there's not much resistance here on the 1 hour chart because you already went past the 200 moving average. On the 2 hour time frame, you also went past that 50-day moving average, which was sitting at about 1125, 1130. So getting past 1120, 1130 was what we needed to see for CoAI to go to higher prices. And as I'm talking about it right now, we're almost about to hit $12 on CoAI. So I don't see much resistance until like 12, 13 bucks and 15 bucks. I've already said that already. And I mean, downside, if there is any downside, you know, CoAI could come back to this 100 moving average on the 2 hour time frame, back to $10 again. And then I think people would just probably reload up their longs at that area because it's like a psychological target for a lot of people. I think CoAI would probably just do a shallow pullback down to 10 bucks. You could reload and then see this thing go to higher prices. Alright, moving on from CoAI, we'll take a look at CleanSpark here, and then World Liberty Finance. So CleanSpark, for those who don't know, is a Bitcoin miner. It's a company here in the United States. They have operations in the United States, and they just mine Bitcoin. That's how they make money. It costs them money to buy up all the computers and run the electricity to run all those miners, but when they actually mine Bitcoin, they're able to sell it, and that's how they make their revenue, and that's how they're able to become a profitable company here. Let's get into the daily time frame for CleanSpark. We see CleanSpark at $16.90, down 9% today, probably because the price of Bitcoin is dropping. So this thing, because it's a Bitcoin miner, it's subject to whatever Bitcoin price does. So if the Bitcoin price is dropping, you would expect the price of the stock to drop down as well. Vice versa, if Bitcoin price goes up, you would expect the price of the stock to climb up. So we've seen this stock kind of top out here on October 15th. It got as high as like $23.61. Right now, you're trying to get some support off the 21 EMA. This white line is at 1765, but you kind of lost it. Could, you know, CleanSpark go down to lower prices? It probably will, just the way things are looking, unless Bitcoin price goes up. Okay. But if it does go down, I see some sideways trading action here, around like $14. I'm not even doing any, you know, VRVP or Fibonacci here, and I could just eyeball this and see that there was some sideways trading action here at $14. Now, if I turn on the VRVP, I bet you it's going to show you something over there. Yeah, you got some high volume nodes here at like $14 and $15. So maybe CleanSpark actually comes down to like $15 or $14 before it gets a bounce off that area. Most of the volume, the majority of the volume over the last few months here, a lot of people did buy CleanSpark at $10. So a lot of people are in profit right now. And you would think you would have some support at least at $10 if this thing does drop down to 10 bucks. But let me go ahead and draw a Fibonacci now. I bet you we have some Fib levels to look out here for. And look at this, a 0.382 retracement at 1464. Kind of hanging out right next to a high volume node here. I think $14, $15 is what you should be targeting to buy CleanSpark at cheaper prices if you're able to do so. There is a 0.5 retracement at 1638. Maybe we get front run a little bit and 1638 actually gets a reaction and we get a higher low at that area. So that's something to, you know, keep in mind. Take it as an idea. But I see a lot of confluence right over here at 1464 and 15 bucks. I would say that'd be a good area to try and scoop up some cheap CleanSpark if you're able to do so. Now, if CleanSpark actually gets a bounce here and makes a higher low, there might be some resistance at $20.58, which is your 786 retracement, and then of course there'll be more resistance at 2361, where we had the highs for the year. And then maybe later on this year, if Bitcoin actually goes up to $200,000, maybe you might see CleanSpark at the 1272 at $27.71. That's your upside target if Bitcoin actually goes up and makes new all-time highs here. Alright, moving on from CleanSpark, we'll take a look at World Liberty Finance. I'm just going to get rid of this Fibonacci. I don't think we need this anymore. I can always draw a new one. Alright, so we'll look at the daily chart here for World Liberty Finance. Currently trading at just under 13 pennies, 0.127 pennies to be exact. And let's see. I do have the VRVP here. World Liberty Finance is below the value area. So the value area is this white line here. That's the value area low, and then the white line above is the value area high. This is your value area, and of course the POC is that blue line, which is the highest volume. You're below all of that here on World Liberty Finance. So this could tell me that World Liberty Finance might be considered undervalued because you're below the value area, where the majority of people are underwater and suffering right now with World Liberty being at low prices at 12 cents here. Okay. That means that there's really not much resistance until you get up to at least the value area low here at 18 pennies here. But there's also possibly a resistance from this 21 EMA. 21 EMA could act as resistance at 15.5 pennies here. So I think upside target 15.5 pennies, and then after that 18 pennies for World Liberty Finance. And if it does get to 18 pennies, just doing the math off the top of my head, I think that's about a 50% increase from where you are right now. So you're just waiting for World Liberty to go up to that value area low. About a 45-50% increase on your World Liberty Finance here. And you can kind of game plan because you're already like near the lows for the year. I'll put the stop loss right below this low here on October 12th. We got as low as like 11.5 pennies. I just put the stop loss at 11.5 pennies because if we go lower than 11.5 pennies on World Liberty Finance, then there might be something wrong with this asset here. And do you really want to stick around to find out? Do you really want to see how bad things can get? Like back here on October 10th where we got as low as like 7 pennies. Do you really want to find out? That's why I would put the stop loss at 11.5 pennies. In case we're wrong about World Liberty Finance and this thing does drop down to lower prices here. Okay. But yeah, I think World Liberty Finance, relatively brand new coin, has a lot of work to do just to get back up to where it was in beginning of October when it was at like 20 pennies. We shall see. We shall see with World Liberty Finance here. John316 wants to look at ZBCN. Alright, we'll take a look at ZBCN, and then we'll go back to looking at those cryptocurrency miners for Ave Medina. ZBCN, and looks like my TikTok stream is, we're lacking on the likes here. Apparently no one wants to hit the like button. Nobody likes the fact that I talk about no altcoin season here. No one wants to come onto the live stream. And then no one wants to hit the like button. I get it, you know. Let's see. You say, why do I say no altcoin season? You're new and you want to know what I know? Well, I talked about it earlier in the live stream that interest rates are just too sky high right now. So, you know, once they lower interest rates, and I believe they're going to lower interest rates next week. So that's going to help us out with altcoin season. Another thing that could help us out is the CPI inflation data is coming out on Friday. If that shows inflation coming down, then that probably means we don't have to worry about inflation anymore and they can lower interest rates again and again and again. So that would help us out with altcoin season, as more people are able to get access to cheaper money, and they can put that cheap money and put it into your altcoins there. Hope that answers your question there. All right, let's take a look at ZBCN. ZBEC. We're looking at ZBEC network currently trading at, well, we're just going to call this 36,600, down 0.99%. And ZBEC is holding on to dear life on this 200-day moving average, this red line here, sitting at 35,600, okay? Do not go below this 200-day moving average and actually end the day below that 200-day moving average, because if you do, it could be bad news bears for ZBEC network, okay? Very interesting that the 200-day moving average is right next to the 0.236 retracement at 34,800. I put a stop loss there for you, John 316. I would put a stop loss at like 34,000. Because if you lose 34,000 on ZBEC network, I mean, it could be game over for this altcoin. I know you got a lot of hopes and aspirations for this coin here, but you know, a lot of people have got burnt on altcoins because they kept holding on to the fact that they think the thing's going to go to higher prices here. You have your warning signs here. You have your 200-day moving average. You have the 0.236 retracement. You start losing, you know, 34,000 in my opinion. I mean, how much lower are you going to go? Do you have to go back to what you did here in July when you were at like 23,000? Can you stomach that? Or do you think it might be better to sell at 34,000 and then maybe buy back in again at 23,000? Because let's just game planning that out here. You know, we have a drop from where we are now down to 23,000 points here. That's about a 36% drop. Can you handle a 36% drop? Or could you handle maybe a 6% drop and then come back and re-enter at 23,000 and just hold on to your valuable dollars there? That's what I would do. I would probably put the stop loss at like 34,000 right now on ZBEC. Alright, well, if you can stomach it and hold it, then do what you need to do. But just keep in mind, I know here in America, you know, you can actually sell your crypto at a loss. Hopefully buy back in again at a lower price. And you can use that loss against your taxes here in America. You can actually count that against your profits if you do have profits. So, you know, you don't have to pay that much taxes. You know, it's one thing to keep in mind. I'm not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Never plan on being a financial advisor, so don't ask me to be your financial advisor. But that's what I would do. You know, lock in the losses, come back in, buy at a lower price. Or you can lock in the losses right now. You can literally sell now if you have a loss and buy back literally like a second later. And there's no wash sale in crypto like you would with stocks. So you could actually take the loss, immediately buy back in again. And you don't have to like wait 30 days like you would with stock market world. Yeah. So something to keep in mind. Maybe talk to your talk to your accountant that does your taxes and talk to them about, you know, taking a loss on your crypto and buying back in again. And they can tell you about they call it tax loss harvesting, or yeah, just basically tax loss harvesting. And then also talk to them about the wash rule, like the 30-day wash rule, which applies to stocks, but it doesn't apply to crypto. At least not yet. They haven't made that a rule yet here in America. So you can take advantage of locking in your losses, buying back in right again, and then you got a nice loss to show, you know, Uncle Sam and the IRS that, hey, you lost money, so you don't have to pay taxes. Just something to keep in mind. What Moses says, some altcoins are dying. Yeah, it looks that way. It looks that way. John says he doesn't pay tax. Well, if you don't pay taxes, then I guess you're alright. But you know, just to avoid the losses, you can still put a stop loss in there. Buy back in at a lower price. But if ZBEC actually does get a bounce, I haven't even done the bullish case here for you. But if ZBEC can bounce off the 2-day moving average, then we're going to see how it handles itself at this next level at 41,800. And then also 42,000, where the 100-day, 21, and the 50-day are all bunched up together. You can see those moving averages right here. That's going to be your next resistance zone to the upside here. It's going to kind of prevent you from going higher until you can actually prove that you can actually go higher than what these moving averages are at right now. So I think 41, 42,000 is your next upside target to beat before you can even talk about going up to like maybe like 47 or 50,000 here on ZBEC. Okay. All right, moving on from ZBEC, we'll take a look at we gotta look at Marathon. Was another request from Ava Medina. Let's go look at Marathon right now. Marathon is another Bitcoin miner similar to CleanSpark, like we talked about earlier in this live stream. And Marathon is currently trading at $18.91, down 5.78% today. And what is Marathon doing? What is it doing? Could this possibly be a double bottom? I don't know. Looks like we came as low as 1858 today, and we came as low as 1818 on October 10th. In order for it to qualify as a double bottom, it has to be about 3% away from the other low, and this looks like it's a 2%, so this could possibly be a double bottom here at like $18 on Marathon. Okay. I know some of you might be like, oh, double bottoms, don't they just come from like a downtrend? No, you can go into an uptrend and still create a double bottom and then get launched up to higher prices here. And if this is a double bottom on Marathon, then you just measure from the top in between the two bottoms here. That gives you your measure move, and you take your measure move and you put it on top of the top. And if Marathon is going to be overly bullish here, then we do have a target here. That blue number at $28.50 could be a target for Marathon if this double bottom plays out to the upside perfectly. Now, nothing's ever perfect in cryptocurrency world or even markets here. But let's see if we got a Fibonacci we can work with that gives us the target for Marathon here, and we'll see if the Fibonacci agrees with the measure move on the double bottom. So I'm just measuring from the high to low here, swing low to swing high. If we actually get to $23, and we'll say $23.16, around there. Okay. You got a 1618 that says $27.80. Could be an upside target for Marathon, which is confluent with this measured move on the double bottom here at $28.50. So $27, $28 is a possibility here for Marathon. More likely target that might get hit is this 1272 at $25.24. I'm kind of giving the bullish case here for Marathon before I start getting to the bearish case. And yeah. Let me move that around. But yeah, those are your upside targets if Marathon can get past $23 here, like it did on October 16th. Now, bearish case, or maybe buying opportunity case, right? Because maybe you want to just buy at lower prices here. Marathon, I mean, I like the fact that you're making a double bottom possibly here at $18. But if you lose $18, then we do have a 0.236 level at 1758, which is not too far from where we are right now. And then we got the 50-day moving average at 1704. Maybe you could start putting in some buy limit orders here. Try to get filled between $17 and $17.50. And this could be a nice little buy zone to get some cheaper Marathon. Yeah. That's what I would do if I was inclined to buy some more Marathon here. And that's your downside target on Marathon. I think Marathon is fine. it's still bullish. It's above all the moving averages except the 21 EMA. If Bitcoin goes up to 200 grand, you're gonna see this thing climbing up to higher prices. You'll probably see that $27 target if Bitcoin goes to 200 grand. DC says maybe we'll get a pump when the Money 2 M2 money printer goes burr. DC says 70% of alts are down 50% from last month. That is no bueno. I can understand why people are getting sick and tired of altcoins right now. Yeah. Where is Bitcoin's 200 exponential moving average? I don't really use the 200 EMA. I use the simple moving average. And right now the 200 simple moving average, that red line, is sitting at 108,151. Now I could add another indicator in there for you. We could put in the exponential moving average at 200. I just gotta see, would I put that? I might have to just type in exponential moving average. Oh, there we go, moving average exponential. So I will try to find that 200 moving average for you on Bitcoin, since you asked for it. Go into settings here. We'll make this a yellow line. Inputs, we'll make it a 200 exponential moving average, and there we go. Okay, so now the 200 exponential moving average is this yellow line here on the chart. And the 200 EMA is, oh wow, it's like right next to the 200 simple moving averages. They're both at like 108,100. We need Bitcoin to stay above this line, go higher, in order for us to go to higher prices. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, DZ. You know, if we lose these 200 moving averages, we're gonna be bearish on Bitcoin and crypto. Like, we need to like start moving right now and go higher, or else we are screwed and we're going down. Okay, so yeah, very crucial moment here for Bitcoin and crypto, because we're testing the 200 moving averages here. We need to go up to higher prices in order to see higher prices. It's as simple as that. But, you know, lose these moving averages and it's no bueno. People are going to start selling, including me. I'm going to start selling my altcoins in crypto. Okay? Because it's not looking good out there. I'll just sell and just stick to day trading and just doing temporary positions here and there until Bitcoin finds its bottom. You know, last time we lost the 200 moving averages, right? Last time we lost the 200-day moving average, you know, we saw Bitcoin go down to like 74K. Last time we lost the 200 EMA, right? We saw Bitcoin go down to 74K. All right, so that's what I'm a little bit worried about here. You know, if we lose these 200 moving averages here, that red and yellow line there, you know, could Bitcoin go to 93K and then go up? Yeah, it probably could. But like, you know, you can save yourself the drama, the heartache, and the anxiety by just selling now. You know, if Bitcoin loses the 200 moving average, you can sell now and then maybe buy back later at like 95 or 94K or lower. Oh boy, DZ wants to know when I'm gonna sell, because he's gonna sell too. He's gonna tell it to everybody on his Discord as well. Well, that's the crazy thing, DZ, is that we have lost 108K a bunch of times already earlier this week. You know, last Friday we definitely lost 108K, and we came down to 103K. But what was nice to see is that, yeah, this was danger zone, but we climbed back up this weekend going into Monday. That was nice to see. And then Tuesday was looking really good, but then we viciously got swatted down to lower prices here after hitting these moving averages. Now, you know, this is, you know, still not game over yet. You know, give it some time. We're paying attention. Like, are we gonna end today above 108K? That's probably the most important thing. Can we stay above 108K by we got like 6 more hours left. 6 hours and 56 minutes before the daily candle closes here. Okay? If we can end today above 108K, I think we'll be alright. and then we can work on going up to higher prices tomorrow and, you know, Friday, going into the weekend, and then we'll see if we can get back up to the 100-day moving average all over again at 112K. It acted as resistance. We saw that yesterday. Maybe we get up to 112K and we use that as support to then launch ourselves up to like 115 and then higher from there. But we got to take it day by day. It's still not game over yet, but we're playing with fire. We are definitely playing with fire. We're flirting with danger right now. We're like inside the jaws of defeat. If you want to use like a football analogy or something like that. We're like, we got our head inside the shark right now and it's about to bite our head off. We need to get our head off of that, out of the shark and swim away. You know, get away from this 200-day moving average and actually climb up to higher prices to get away from the shark over here, this 200-day moving average. In my opinion, that's my best analogy there. All right, Hector Renteria has followed me. Thank you for following me here. If you guys are enjoying these live streams and you want to come see more of them, by all means, don't forget to subscribe and follow me here. Here on TikTok, you can come join my 5,400 followers here. Okay. Why is this thing going? I gotta refresh this thing. Maybe you can see some of my videos here on TikTok. Yeah, you know, and on TikTok I got plenty of videos talking about crypto. Recently I have done some videos about some stocks that are doing like earnings reports. Like Netflix had an earnings report yesterday. Tesla's doing an earnings report later on today. We talked about Lithium Americas Corporation. We talked about silver. We talked about gold. We talked about Bitcoin. They even got monster trucks in there just for some fun and entertainment. We talk about crypto. Like, this is the place that's happening right now. You got to come join me on the Meet Damien TikTok here. And of course, you see me go live here. All right, let's go back to the charts here. Ava Medina, did you still want me to look at that other? I think you do. Yeah, you want me to look at UPXI? Let's take a look at UPXI. ViSpark says, we go up or down? I mean, that's the question we ask every single day, looking at the charts here. But if we don't go up, then we're definitely going down. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but like, if we lose the 200-day moving average, if we lose 108K later on today and tomorrow, and we start going to lower prices, then guess what? We are going to continue going to lower prices. Maybe we come and visit 103K all over again. All right. If I pull the VRVP on Bitcoin and I zoom out a little bit, chart's gonna get a little bit messy here, guys. But yeah, if we lose what, this 104K, 103K, this high volume node here, we have a big gap in the VRVP, and we're not gonna get much support until we get down to like 96K. And if we lose 96K, we're not going to get much support until we get down to like 88K, 87K. So those are the levels to look for if we are going down here on Bitcoin. And I will be shorting it. I will be shorting Bitcoin. If we lose 108K, I will short it down to 105K. If we lose 105K, 104K, I'll short it down to like 97K. And if we lose 97K, I'll short it down to 87K. DZ says we would have had an altcoin season if it wasn't for Trump and all the government BS. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get all too political here, but if Donald Trump didn't do tariffs, then the Federal Reserve probably would have seen inflation coming down, and they've also would have seen the jobs market losing jobs over the last few months, and they would have lowered interest rates sooner rather than later. They lowered it last month in September. They're probably gonna lower it again because the jobs report has been coming down, and now inflation is actually coming down compared to where it was earlier this year, and that gave them the green light to actually lower interest rates. And lowering interest rates is what's going to help the altcoin season. And now, yeah, the government BS is also messing things up here. The government shutdown is messing things up. Because we would have had altcoin ETFs by now. We would have had a Solana ETF, or at least they would have had a decision on the Solana ETF 2 weeks ago. October 10th. The same day that we actually saw Bitcoin, you know, drop down. And the altcoins have a heart attack. You know, October 10th was when they were going to do the decision for Solana ETF, and instead we got Donald Trump saying 100% tariffs on China if they don't change their ways. So it's like we got rug pulled. Like we were gonna get what we wanted, and then they gave us the total opposite. And yeah, government shutdown is preventing XRP from getting an ETF. It's preventing the yellow altcoins from getting ETFs. So a lot of it's just like 2025. It just hasn't been our year for crypto. But could that mean that 2026 is going to be our year? Because we still have the possibility of lowering interest rates and getting those altcoin ETFs, and the government actually coming back and doing their freaking job again here in the United States. Maybe 2026. Maybe instead of a 4-year cycle, it becomes a 4.5-year cycle or a 5-year cycle, which would totally throw people off for sure that have been counting on the 4-year cycle as their time to sell crypto, right? Tariq says, is there any buy signals? Well, let's look at the oscillators here. Let's look at market cipher B. You're looking for buy signals. You had a red sell dot here on Tuesday, which came immediately after the buy dot here on Monday. So very confusing here. However, money flow looks like it's starting to curve up to the upside, so that's good to see. So maybe we get a green buy dot later on today or tomorrow. I mean, as I'm talking right now, Bitcoin is at 108,300. We need to continue climbing up, and then we might get that green buy dot here on the daily time frame here. Looking at the MACD for your signals here. Selling pressure is also dying down, so we've seen the worst of the worst here on the MACD on October 17th, last Friday. So if we could just continue seeing the selling pressure die down and get a MACD flip, maybe we get a MACD flip going into the beginning of next week. But I swear to God, if Donald Trump says anything about tariffs again, or if we get like a bad CPI report on Friday, then this could just start increasing again, and that probably means Bitcoin's going below 108K, and we're going into a bear market, unfortunately. Yeah. Tariq says, are people buying? Show of hands. Has anybody bought crypto this week or these past few days here for your spot bags? Not like day trading, but has anybody bought any crypto? I haven't, because I'm pretty much all in. I have a little bit that I could. I was thinking about maybe buying like Avantis. I think DZ might like hearing that. Or maybe like Aerodrome Finance, one of the decentralized exchanges out here. But yeah, Tariq, I feel like you need to ask that question, and is anybody on TikTok? Have you guys bought any crypto last few days here, or bought back in after the violent sell-off the last couple of weeks? I think it's better to just ask your own friends and family if they bought Bitcoin, rather than trying to look at the charts. I mean, the charts are showing me that people are selling their crypto and going into Tether, and they're selling their altcoins and going into Bitcoin instead, because Bitcoin dominance is rising. So that's what the charts are telling me right now, Tariq. Coinbase and American Express partnered with a credit card company. You get 4% back in BTC on purchases, is what DZ is saying. All right. Well, so we got to look at UPXI here, because I think Ava Medina requested that, and I just haven't got around to it yet. It is his third request. I have done 2 requests for him already. Yeah, let's look at UPX right now, real quick here. UPXI. Oh, another stock. Okay, UPEXI. I have no idea what this thing does. It's on the NASDAQ. It's related to pharmaceuticals and healthcare. It engages in the manufacture and distribution of consumer products through direct-to-consumer network and major platforms like Amazon. Its brands include Lucky Tail, Prax, Cure, Mushrooms, Moonwalker, and Jumi Labs. Company started in 2018 and headquartered in Florida, Tampa, Florida. Alright, so we're looking at UPXI here for Ava Medina. If you're still in the chat, just put a 1 in the chat if you are or something. Let me know you're still here. We're looking at UPEXI. I'm not sure how else to pronounce it. UPEXI maybe? I don't know. Trading at $4.79, down 5.99% today. And what is this thing doing? What is this thing doing? Trying to see what this thing does. I'm going to get rid of this exponential moving average. We don't need this anymore. Kind of redundant with all the other moving averages. But this thing looks like it topped out in April. Got as high as like $22. But making lower highs, lower high, lower high, lower high. Still in the downtrend. Kind of making higher lows though since July. So we'll just work off of this data here. Still making lower highs. Get rid of the moving averages for now. However, making higher lows, roughly. I don't know. This is kind of like a low. This is a low and then a lower low and a lower low. So I don't know. I don't. Barely. So yeah, but I think this is still your uptrend to try to stay intact here for the UPEXI. You're at the bottom of the downtrend, so this could be a buying opportunity here. Put your stop loss below the low that you had here on August 1st, where you guys loaded like 431. And you can just play this. You buy low here, you sell when it goes to the top here, make another lower high, come back in, redo it again, make another buy when you get to the bottom at 475, sell again when it gets to like $6, $7. It's one way to play this pattern here, this chart pattern. See what the moving average is doing on this thing. You're below the 200-day moving average. So, UPEXI is in its own bear market right now because you're below the 200-day moving average. Get above the 200-day moving average, you can be back to being bullish again. But this thing lost this 200-day moving average, and it's been threatening to do it a few times here. Kind of feel bad for the investors here because you get up, you get above it, and then you come right back down and then go below it, come back above it, go below it, come back above it, go below it. Are you gonna come back above it again? I don't know. But this is the craziness that I see here with UPEXI right now. I think I would just play this chart pattern. Just you could buy low here and sell near like $6, $7 here. I'm going to now try to pull the VRVP, see what the VRVP has to say for levels here. Your point of control, highest volume is at 631. A lot of people bought at that level there. I would try to sell some at 631 if I could, if I was in this asset. And then maybe sell some more at like 730. Got another high volume there. Then the volume starts to drop off once you get past 777. Lucky number 7. And then you got a value area high at 901. I would definitely sell some at 901 because that's almost like a double from where you are right now. And then support. I mean, you're coming up on support right now. You got value area low at 453, 455, somewhere in this area. So you can buy, you know, if you're not buying right now, you could buy probably at 450, 455. Put your stop loss at like 430. And you're not really risking too much. And you're just trying to see if this thing's going to get right back up to the point of control at like $6, and then get past the point of control and back up to the value area high at $9, and you're doing all right for a trade on that one. I see Lauren A's in the chat. She says hit the like button. Thank you, Lauren, for reminding people about the likes here. We got a good amount of likes. I think we got a good amount of likes for the amount of people in the live stream right now. All right, let's see. Tariq says he thinks people gave up on altcoins and they're trusting Bitcoin and gold right now. Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on, but if they lower interest rates, which they plan on doing soon, they're going to do it next week, and I think they'll probably do it again in December as well. That's going to take some of the shine off of gold, because gold, gold only goes up when people buy it, right? It's kind of like Bitcoin. Bitcoin only goes up when people buy it. But gold doesn't earn dividends like a dividend paying stock. So people will sell their gold and go right back into dividend paying stocks if the dividend pays more money than what they're getting for interest rates. Okay? Because people have options. They could either put their money in a bond, that earns interest, or they could put their money in gold, which doesn't earn interest, or they could put their money in a stock that earns dividends as like a form of interest. And if they lower interest rates, that takes away from the bonds, makes people not want to be in bonds, and it causes people to want to get into the stock market, where if they lower interest rates, that could allow consumers to be able to buy more with their credit cards and whatever, and the company that's earning dividends could actually make more money and then pay more dividends because of that. Yeah. I got a little bit off tangent there, but that's how I would answer that question about, people giving up on alts and trusting Bitcoin and gold. And Bitcoin is actually kind of like a risk-on asset, meaning that people will get into Bitcoin and crypto because they think it's going to go to higher prices because more businesses will start using crypto. And if they lower interest rates, then yeah, more businesses will be using crypto or starting their own cryptos. And that's going to also increase the value of Bitcoin and crypto, whatever altcoins that are out there. Okay. So lowering interest rates, like I said earlier in this live stream, is the reason why we haven't had an altcoin season. It's because of interest rates being so damn high, longer than most people are expecting. And now they're finally getting around to lowering the interest rates. Now let's go back into Bitcoin here again. See Bitcoin at 108,055. We need to see Bitcoin stay above 108,100. Because that's where the 20-day moving average, this red line, is sitting at. We're flirting with danger. We're flirting with having problems here if we don't stay above 108,100. We still got 6 hours and 37 minutes left before the day is over. I want to see Bitcoin higher than 108,100, or it's time to start clicking the sell button on some of these cryptos that we got here. Looking pretty dicey. Yeah. Because if we keep going to lower prices, then the momentum starts to build and we'll start seeing, $90,000 Bitcoin at some point here, or lower. Appreciate you guys double tapping the screen and hitting the like button. Thank you to my TikTok viewers over here. Alright, I think we pretty much answered most of these questions here. I don't see any more requests. I think I'm gonna probably end the live stream. Let's see. Ava Medina has said, Upexi started Farmer Lake consumer health stuff. Oh, nail fungus screens and all that stuff. Okay. But now they're all in on crypto, building up a Solana treasury. Oh, that's interesting. So that's why you requested it. So they have a business that will be around selling consumer health stuff that will be around whether we're having a recession or not. And they also are putting their money into Solana. That's very interesting in my opinion, yeah. Alright. Tariq is asking me, do I think people are sitting on the sidelines and waiting? Yeah. We looked at USDT dominance early in the live stream. I don't know if you've seen that. You can always look at my live streams on YouTube as well to look at the replay. But yeah, let's look at USDT dominance real quick. USDT dominance is at 5.06% and still climbing. So this is showing you that people are selling their altcoins and their Bitcoin and going into Tether right now. This is showing that people are afraid right now. Yep. They're sitting on the sidelines. I would agree. I would agree with that. Because Tether dominance was pretty low back here in August when we saw it as low as like lower than 4%. That was good to see. And I was kind of hoping it would go lower than 4% to like 3.74%. Because Tether dominance was as low as 3.74% like back in January of this year and December when we had all that excitement about altcoins. Same thing back here in March of 2024 when we had like a mini altcoin season. Tether dominance at 5%, no bueno. No bueno. But, you know, who knows? Maybe we might make a lower high and get rejected off of here. And we get an altcoin season and people take their Tether and start buying altcoins going into next month maybe. And I think the catalyst for that would be lower interest rates, which they might do, you know, they're expected to do next week. And then if the government gets back up and running again, we can get those altcoin ETFs, and that would also help bring Tether dominance down and more money into altcoins as well. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream so I can get the rest of my day here started. I appreciate you guys coming into the live stream here with me and looking at some of these altcoins and looking at Tether dominance and Bitcoin dominance. But I think we're going to end the live stream there, guys. I'll plan on going live again tomorrow, same time at like 12 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll just see, you know, can Bitcoin stay above 108K or is it game over for us? Oh, there we go. There's 107K, 107,900. Playing games with us. Playing games, flirting with danger. But this could be a buying opportunity too. You know, it's not game over yet until we actually lose 108K and stay below it later on today. Then I start to get worried. But I am worried right now. Yeah, I am worried for Bitcoin and altcoins and crypto altogether right now. Because Bitcoin is just not doing what it needs to do. I gotta catch up on the news headlines because I don't know why aren't we able to see some price appreciation right now. Does anybody know what was said in the news today? Because I feel like there must be something that's suppressing the price right now. But I can't put my thumb on it. I have to go check out the news and see what happened while I was on the live stream here with you guys. But till then, I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll check up on the charts and see where the prices might go next. Take care, guys.
Meus pincéis, tirar meus pincéis, mesmo mathematica, I can see myself here. Tirar meus pincéis, tirar meus pincéis. I